Mengqi, an intelligent and seemingly happy young mother, mysteriously disappeared on October 9, 2017. It took more than a year for DNA of Ji to be found on a tree in a state park, which finally revealed everything that had actually happened to her. Before we dive into this mysterious case, here's a small reminder to subscribe to the channel and to be sure to hang on till the end of the video to not miss any important information. Let's get started. Who is Mengqi Ji? Mengqi Ji was an active young mother, interested in photography and painting. While she showed signs of independence at a young age, she always remained close to her parents. Ji received her engineering bachelor's degree after attending the East China University of Science and Technology in Shanghai. She made the decision to continue her studies for her master's degree in the USA. Her parents agreed with her decision, and Mengqi Ji managed to obtain a degree in mechanical and aerospace engineering from the University of Missouri. How Mengqi Ji met Joseph Elledge. Ji got employed by a business that manufactures dental products after graduating. She was a material engineer at the time, which was the reason she first met Joseph Elledge, her later husband. Mengqi Ji was his superior while he was an intern working part-time. Despite having met in September 2015, their first date took place in January 2016. The two developed a strong and rapid love for one another, which led to Joseph later asking Mengqi Ji's parents for her hand in marriage after they had traveled to China. On September 8, 2017, Joseph proposed while on a hike in Rockbridge Memorial State Park. Joseph and Mengqi Ji got married on September 22, 2017 after a short engagement. The disappearance of Mengqi Ji. Upon discovering that she was pregnant, Mengqi Ji was filled with happiness. But once their daughter was born, problems started to appear. Ji and her husband started having frequent arguments. Ji's parents traveled from China to assist in caring for their granddaughter because of this. But rather than alleviating the situation, their presence escalated the tension between Joseph and their daughter. On the evening of October 8th, Joseph attempted to initiate intimacy with his wife. Mengqi Ji, however, declined his advances and went to bed around 11 p.m. When Joseph awoke the next morning, he saw his wife Mengqi had left. In addition to their one-year-old daughter, she also had left behind her wallet, cell phone, and car keys. Ji tended to speak with her mother in China every day over the phone, so her mother got worried too after a day had passed without a call. Mother Ji requested a friend to go see her daughter and make sure everything was all right. During this encounter, Joseph stated that his wife was missing and later told the police about her disappearance. Findings. An important thing to know is that Joseph had decided to call the non-emergency line 311 rather than 911. Joseph did highlight his and his daughter's love for his wife during a media interview, in which he stated his wish for her safe return home. Joseph also agreed to take part in a lengthy interview with the Columbia Police Department that very day. Investigators soon began to suspect Joseph's account though, particularly when he described taking leisurely, lengthy journeys to discover new hiking trails rather than actively looking for his wife, who was nowhere to be found. Eventually, access to his cell phone was requested while he was being questioned at the police station. On Joseph's phone, the investigation team found 10 hours worth of secretly recorded disputes between Joseph himself and Mengqi Ji. In one instance, he was heard saying, "What's your intention? Seriously? Are you attempting to separate the baby from me? Is your goal to push me to the edge so you can involve the police and take our child away?" In recordings that were later recovered from Mengqi Ji's phone, Joseph could be heard telling Mengqi Ji, "You think you're so empowered because of this society? Well, don't forget that nature exists. You're still just a woman." Joseph Elledge arrested. In response to Mengqi Ji's disappearance, the Columbia Police Department said that they had decided to open a criminal investigation. They arrested Joseph on the same day, even though the arrest had nothing to do with his wife's disappearance. Instead, he was taken into custody on suspicion of abusing his child. Authorities had received information about bruises on his daughter, and his bail was established at $500,000. Investigators discovered that on the day Joseph claimed his wife disappeared, he had visited the Layman River, which is located about 40 minutes away from the couple's home. When speaking with the police, Joseph left out this information, which led to questions about whether the river had anything to do with her disappearance. The Highway Patrol conducted an initial surface search at the Lamine River with the hopes of discovering potential clues, but none of these efforts were successful. Authorities were still unable to find Mengqi after their best efforts for several months. Even though Ji remained unfound, the court chose to press charges of first-degree murder against Joseph. They were persuaded that Joseph was involved in his wife's disappearance after analyzing the audio recordings found on Mengqi's phone. Finding Mengqi and more findings. Nearly a year and a half after Mengqi had vanished, a hiker discovered her skeletal remains within Rock Bridge Memorial State Park, the very location where Joseph had proposed to her years ago. The fact that Mengqi's body had 4 shattered ribs led the prosecutor to believe that she most likely died in a violent argument. During Joseph's arrest, investigators had already collected muddy boots from the couple's residence. Christine Edwards, a plant population geneticist, and her group were charged with comparing the plant DNA extracted from the muddy boots to plant samples extracted from trees close to the site where Mengqi's skeletons were discovered in order to make a connection. The prosecution asserted that DNA from the tree hanging over the site of Mengqi's burial did in fact match the samples from the boots, effectively linking Joseph to that precise area. A new story. The trial's new narrative was developed by Joseph's defense attorney after Joseph was connected to the spot of Mengqi's burial. He argued that Joseph did cause his wife's death, but that everything had been an unfortunate accident. The attorney explained that the couple allegedly had started pushing each other after a disagreement at home, which caused Mengqi to accidentally fall. According to Joseph's attorney, Ji had told Joseph to leave her alone, after which he took a walk while she went to bed. Joseph then woke up to his crying baby the following morning and discovered his wife had passed away. Then, Joseph panicked and decided against calling 911, eventually choosing to bury Mengqi. During the opening statements, prosecutor Dan Knight played the concealed audio recordings of arguments between Joseph and Mengqi. Joseph could be seen referring to Mengqi as brainless in the recordings. This deliberate action seemed to be a strategic move on his part to exert dominance over her. The prosecutor assumed that Joseph decided he wanted Mengqi removed from the picture because he couldn't control her the way he wanted. Both legal teams gave final statements during the course of the 10-day trial. The defense attorney reiterated the tragic accident narrative and advocated for manslaughter charges. Prosecutor Dan Knight, on the other hand, argued that Mengqi's death had been planned and wanted Ji's husband Joseph to be charged with first-degree murder. The final verdict, however, didn't align with either side's desires. The jury found Joseph Elledge guilty of second-degree murder and proceeded to suggest a 28-year prison sentence. This conclusion has brought us to the end of this video. Thanks for getting to the end of the video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you're looking forward to watching more of our content. Please also tell us what you think about this video in the comment section below. See you at the next one.